long time. This was home. This is where it began for me. Right here's where Grandpa Murray sat. Right here's where my old papa sat. James Isaac Benenhaley.
Welcome to Turkville, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. It's good to be back at my home church.
It's the Long Branch Baptist Church.
It's where I grew up till I was 12
Okay.
and had to move away, but this is home to me.
So I know a few people might not know who you are, and that's my generation on down.
Yeah, probably so.
So please tell me, I know who you are, because Lord, I love you. You know I
Yes,
do.
sir.
Tell the viewers who you are.
I'm Al Cotter. I'm living in North Carolina, but I lived here. I was raised by Isaac Benenhaley.
Okay. So you were raised by Isaac.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about how that happened, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, had a kind of a not so good home life, and we lived way back up in there, what they call the 5,000 area. We were one of the first families that moved back there.
Okay.
And that is actually on the original 33 acres of Joseph Benenhaley. And this has been over 50 years, so
So did y'all have Suicide Hill back then too?
Yes, sir.
Y'all
Sure
did.
did.
Did you ride the bikes?
It wasn't paved.
So you hurt yourself pretty bad.
Yes, I did. It was mud back then. Grandpa Murray said that was part of Long Branch that went down through there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But my people were not churchgoers.
Okay.
And at 7 and 8, I wanted to go to church. And so up here several times as a little child. From way back, it was a mile back in there.
Okay.
And he got to noticing, I think, and started carrying me home and then picking me up and bringing me back. And so it went from there, and then he'd bring me on the weekends to hunt and fish and do whatever. And because he knew things at my home were not good, I just started staying there and going to school.
So where did y'all hunt, if you want to ask?
Eastover Hunting Club.
So y'all used to hunt over at Eastover as well. So
Eastover.
it was even back then.
Yes, sir. Hunt down in the swamp.
So all I knew was at Eastover was the 90s, because that was more my era of growing up. And Papa and Isaac actually gave me my first gun.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
So
Good deal.
tell me a little bit more.
Well, we used to hunt down in there, deer hunt, during season, and that was a big thing for a 7 and 8 year old boy to go deer hunting.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let me get on a stand by myself, but he carried me, and he bought me a 20 gauge single shotgun, the first one he bought me.
Really?
And I hunted with that, and
Was it Remington? Because he loved Remington.
no, it's been so long now. That gun got stole out of our house over here. Some of my guns and his got stolen. We never did get that one back. I'd love to have it. But then David Pigler had a 20 gauge double barrel.
Really?
Man, I thought I was uptown if he'd let me use that thing. And then David would let me use that some, and then Pa bought me, at my 10th birthday, he bought me a Remington 1100. And the gun was about as tall as I was.
So the questions that I do have for you, I know you speak of Isaac.
Oh, yeah.
And I know your heart on that situation and everything with Isaac.
Oh, yes.
What are some of your earliest memories of Isaac? Since you just told me how you became a part of the family, but
Yeah.
tell me some of your earliest memories of him.
A godly man. Every night, he made me sit down and read the Bible. And then words I would stumble over, he wouldn't even have to look. He could finish out that verse. It didn't matter where it was. He taught me things, how to act, as a man.
How to conduct yourself.
how to conduct yourself. He was always a gentleman, loving. You know, he had no children of his own. He was never married. He was not my father, but he was my daddy. I never wondered one time if I was loved. I knew it. I knew it. He gave me the love of the music that has been most of my career throughout my life. Could sing bass, you know that. Could play a harmonica.
Yes, he could.
He was multi-talented, but he was not a hard man. He was a very easygoing, loving man. Now, I've seen him get mad. Some people probably haven't, but I've seen him, and I've had him mad with me. But you know what? He done what a father was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped up when no one else would. You know, and I never wanted for anything, never. And that's the man I know and I love.
I remember him quite vividly, and I remember him at a different angle. I remember him whenever he used to sit over there.
Yeah.
So that was a hard thing for me to just look around here at this church. And I know that you mentioned that you haven't been here in quite a while either. But man, I could see exactly where people sat.
Oh yeah, me too.
How they worked.
Yep.
And what was going on. I know that you remember whenever Alex and I spoke about how if we sat next to him, because we would always sit on that other row that you spoke about, that where people used to cut up and get in trouble.
Yeah.
Did he always carry around for the kids candy and things like that?
Candy, money, $1, you know, here, there, quarters.
I've still got a lot of my silver dollars he used to give me.
I've got a silver dollar, and it was from 1976. He went to the bank, and he gave it to me in 76, and I've still got it, silver dollar, and he loved to do that, and he'd buy him fireworks at 4th of July and New Year's, and
He did that.
he made every holiday special. He did.
Did that.
And when Grandpa was living, Grandma had died just before I got here, and he took care of him. You know, Grandpa wanted for nothing at all, and he cared for him right till his death.
Tell me if, did you guys ever go to the skating rink?
Yes, we did.
That was one of his favorite things, and I used to ride with him sometimes on Friday evenings.
Was it called Valley View, I think, way back then?
It was called Valley View back then, and then they changed it to Skate Inn.
Yeah.
And during Nikki and our era, it was Skate Inn. Some of Nikki's friends' parents owned it during the time Nikki was there, but then I was there during the time that Mr. Bradley owned it, who owns the Around the Clock daycare up here.
Right.
And he's actually one of the pastors up here as well. So he sold it probably about a good 10 to 12 years ago, and they just tore it down not even three years ago.
We did that. We went skating rings, P-15 ball games a lot.
He loved those.
He did, and every night, almost every night, we were sitting at Hood's grocery store right up the road here. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
That was the courthouse for Turkville.
No, if you don't mind, some funny stories of Isaac.
Oh my Lord. He was very superstitious, you know that.
I do.
And very thrifty.
That he was.
There was a restaurant here in town called Duff's Smorgasbord.
Never heard of it.
It was out near where the mall is now, or was. And it was $5 to eat.
Okay.
And some days that he wouldn't, like Sundays that he wouldn't cook, or Saturday evening or something. Let's go to Duff's. It ain't but $5 and we'll go around there and eat all you want. And they had a buffet, and I'm telling you, we loaded up. And what he didn't finish eating, he wrapped in a napkin, stuck in his pocket. And he was, like I said, he was very superstitious. Anything like New Year's Day, you don't sweep the floor up and sweep the dirt out the door, because that's bad luck.
I would remember that. Grandma thought the same thing.
Yep, you don't carry a Christmas tree in the house over your shoulder. You pull it in, because that's bad luck. And so I would, I had to make up stuff. I'd say, don't do such and such now, that's bad luck. Oh, you lying, you just making that up. But he was we had a 1965 Ford Galaxy 500 when I was a kid.
Okay.
And he drove slow, very, very slow. If we went to Sumter, which was not very often, is 16 miles, it'd take us about an hour. Because he wouldn't drive over 25. And folks running by us and blowing the horn. And what really got embarrassing to me is when the school bus passed, and I'd lay down in the seat so my friends on the school bus wouldn't see me going that slow.
So he used to drive you to school as well?
He did for, I once in a while he'd drive me to school. I would go to Sister's house, Aunt Leah, David and Glenn and Kathy and Barbara's mom. I'd go up there every morning, and she always had a big breakfast cooked for the rest of the kids. And me and Kathy, when it got time, we'd walk from their house down to the school bus and ride the school bus.
That's another hard name.
Yeah.
Because I know that you were very close to Kathy.
Oh yeah, so we was. If you got a second, there's a little story I thought of coming over here. Me and Kathy and Cliff I pulled Cliff over there in a little wagon. And Cliff and them had a great big old yellow dog. King was his name. And Kim Pittman was living over there near us too. Yeah. So we're playing in the yard, and Sister come to the door and had a little drink in a cup and some cookies. And so got 2 cookies apiece. I sat down to eat my cookie, and that great old big dog snatched it out of my hand. And I wrestled that dog to the ground and got my cookie back.
Still ate it slobber and all, huh?
I laid it up in the top of a bush. Had them old big blue flowers in it.
So hydrangeas.
Hydrangea bush.
I always love those hydrangeas.
And I laid it up there, and Kathy said, her voice could get real high pitched. What are you doing? I said, when it dries, it'll be all right. She screamed, Mama, Mama. She said, Sister come to the door and said, what are you hollering at? Said, Al got the cookie out of the dog's mouth and he's going to eat it. Sister said, don't you eat that cookie. I'll give you another one. And she did. So we eat that, and after a while we was playing, and I slipped back around to that bush. And that cookie had dried off. Just about the time I popped that booger up in my mouth, she screamed again, Mama! Mama, he ate that cookie. Well, that's all I could hear.
So speak about a lot of Leah, and Aunt Leah was very special to you as well.
Yes, her and Lily both. Mary.
And Lawrence.
Yep.
And so, if you don't mind me asking too, did you see a bond between that family as far as how close they were?
Very close. Of course, like anybody, you had little tiffs with each other. But in 30 minutes, it's worked out, and it's all right.
Which is way different than today.
Way different than today.
Hold a grudge for years instead of...
Well, we've been known to do that.
That's our family, but it's okay. It's okay.
Pa told me when I was a little boy, I said, you hold a grudge longer than anybody I ever seen in my life. But they were close. If one needed the other one, they may not see him or talk to him every day, but they knew that they were there. They knew that they could depend on the other one. And the love that was there was, it was great. It was great.
That follows the next question. How did their love impact you?
I saw what a family's supposed to be like. I had uncles and aunts on the other side of my family that were wonderful and, you know, loved me dearly, and even to this day. But I was here, you know, in this, and they never treated me as an outsider. I never felt that I was any different than any of the other of, I call my first cousins.
Now, Al, explain that.
Because I wasn't, you know, the story I was told that my grandmother was an Oxendine.
Okay.
Well, I have no documented proof of that. It's just word of mouth. So, in the family, some kind of way, maybe so, but the love that Sister Lily and all of them showed me was just, it was just like I was their own child.
So there's stories that you used to tell me, and you still tell me to this day, and I love those, of how they treated you for your birthdays and Christmas.
Oh my. I never went without a birthday cake. If they, you know, they might swap off years and one do it one year and one do it the next. I always had Christmas gifts. I always had birthday gifts. Always included, you know. It's just, it's kind of hard to explain that what a person will do for a child. And that's what you're supposed to do. You know, that's the way you're supposed to do it. And,
I miss those Christmases with,
oh my.
whenever we used to walk over to Aunt Leah's.
Yeah.
Now those, they might have thought that I didn't think that those were special, but man,
Right.
I really do. I think about it now, and we would get the same presents every year, and Nikki and I played them throughout the year.
Yeah.
Instead of getting us something that would break or be not useful, I'd get socks,
That's right.
and I'd also get a board game,
Yeah.
whether it was Yahtzee or Monopoly or whatever else it was. And Nikki and I played the mess out of those games.
Yep. Aunt Dolly she played a big role. She was just like a grandmother to me, you know, and we'd go down there a lot of Saturdays or Sunday afternoons. And Christmas time, we always would kind of pick at one another and say, well, we're going to Aunt Dolly's to get our pair of socks. And, cause you always got socks, but you know what? I'd give $1 million for a pair of them socks right now.
I would too.
And a jelly cake and sweet potato pie and pecan pie, because they always had a kitchen.